I mean, I'll tell you what, having these wireless ones have changed my life.
Why is that?
Like, it's a small thing to deal with, the like untangling the cables and shit, but oh my God, it makes such a big difference. My stress levels have gone down so much.
So that's the main contributor then. That's why you're feeling so good nowadays? Just no cords for anything?
I think so. Most things are bullshit, but I would highly recommend making the investment. I think it's worth it.
I want to. I'm too cheap to fucking spend $150. Like I spent $80 on like the other ones. But I don't know.
Dude, just go to like T-Mobile and buy them for like $5 a month.
I think you probably have to buy the iPhone with it.
No, you just whatever your phone carrier is, you could just lease it. So you just pay like whatever it costs, $5-6 a month.
Yeah, I suppose. I just talked to my buddy though. He texted me. He said like his company's filing for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's like freaking out because he thinks that he's gonna lose his job now and everything like that. So it's interesting, but I think if they file for bankruptcy, all they're gonna do is just get some more cash flow so they could stay operating throughout this time. That's just I don't know. That's my understanding of it. I don't think they could shut down, especially since they're a healthy business, you know. But they make these bad boys in the office supply realm.
What's better about them?
Huh?
Is there something better about them? What's like? Why would I buy that notebook when I could just go buy one at the dollar store?
That's probably the one.
Huh?
That's probably the one from the dollar store.
I'm saying, why would I buy that one? It probably costs a lot when I could just go to the dollar store and buy one. It's just fucking paper.
I'm saying that I think they are actually the suppliers. They're a manufacturer of all these things. So they supply like all the Office Depots, Targets, etc. So like they might be the ones to supply them, you know?
I see.
But since there's no people in the office, there's no need for office supplies.
Well, maybe they could take advantage of the SBA loans that should be available pretty soon.
I think they could start filing for that stuff now, actually.
Probably.
Yeah. So
I gotta look more into it.
I did one for like a contractor. I want to open this up. It's nice as hell outside today. It's golf weather.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Where? Your backyard?
Yeah. Golf courses aren't open?
No, I already tried.
Oh.
Everything in Illinois is closed, man. Sucks. There's one in Indiana that's open, like hour and a half away.
Is it worth it to go?
Yeah, all right. But anyways, I tried writing the script for the little webinar thing.
Yeah.
So this is what I came up with. What's up, neighbors? Hope everyone is staying safe. We have been experiencing some uncertain times in our lives and especially our economy. One of the many questions we currently are receiving are questions around the real estate market. So we decided to make a state of the market address. If you are free, join me and a few special guests on our live webinar, whatever that is, Tuesday at 9 a.m., where our industry professionals will share some market insights. Fill out the form below and see you then.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You just gotta get into a state where you feel very comfortable. Like, it doesn't sound like it's scripted.
Right.
Like, if you could imagine, even though obviously it's thought through and you have like your objectives and like your, the points you're trying to hit, if you could imagine that all you did was say, Eureka, I've got an idea, and you pull out your phone and you started talking immediately. Like, if you can get into that state of mind, like that would be how I would do the video.
Well, yeah, like you said, it has to be very fluent, right? So it's not like, hey guys, hope you're doing well.
Right. And I mean, in this example, probably would be fine to do it that way too. But I think if
The
you
more
just create the
personal.
habit, yeah, if
Yeah.
you just create the habit of like, I have the idea for the ad. I don't think about it. I don't even have to write it down. I just pull my phone out and I do it. I think that's exactly the type of ad that's going to work really well right now. Plus,
So
like
that's one.
everything's better. Everything's
Huh?
better when you don't. Everything's better when you don't like think about it too much. You just grip it and rip it.
I agree. I mean, you don't have too much fear settling in. I think that's in Cardone's book. That's what he actually talks about. He's like, the more we think about it, the more fear we allow to settle, and then we start second guessing ourselves about a lot of more things instead of just do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh
But
yeah.
okay, so let's say when okay, so if this is record, let's say I record on my phone and then I send it to you, what it will be just on Facebook or what?
I just switched the mic. Sound any different?
Yeah.
Sounds better?
The other one you sounded more vibrant.
Really?
Yeah.
This one should sound way better. This is like a actual microphone. The other one was coming from the ear pods.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just high on life.
Fuck. All right, well, I'm gonna go with this because I can't tell how it sounds until afterward.
Okay.
But this should sound better. Anyway, what were you saying?
So two things I was thinking. One, if I record this on my phone, will we be able to use that video to put it on the ads?
Dude, let me tell you something. The camera on your phone is higher quality than fucking cameras were in Hollywood 10 years ago. So I wouldn't worry about that. It's more than
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Can I do it that way to where, okay, hey, I record it, I'll send it to you, and then we can put it on. Would it be on a Facebook ad, or like what ads are we doing? And then you said $50 should be sufficient for. Because I'm thinking like if I record it today and I send it to you, and we run it tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, maybe, and then do what? Do the webinar on like a Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon. I don't know.
Yeah, right now, generally any time would be fine because we don't have to worry about like conflicting with people's work schedules. So probably like a mid-morning. Like if it's first thing in the morning, probably less chance people are gonna do it.
Okay. The only thing that's gonna suck.
I don't know, like 11. You got what?
I'm gonna be at work.
Well, what days you're not gonna be at work?
I'm working every day. This week I just took off.
So do it on Sunday. Do it on a weekend day.
So just run tomorrow, Saturday, and then see what we get and run it for Sunday.
It's worth a shot, or just do it for next week. Or I mean, this Sunday, this Sunday's fine too. Or do it at night. That's okay.
What if we did it like Tuesday, but like let's say 2 p.m. or in the evening? What would be better, evening or during like mid noon?
I normally would say you want to do it like after work, but in this case, I don't think it matters. So whatever works for your schedule, I think is perfectly fine. We're in uncharted waters here, man. Like we got to rewrite the book.
All right, perfect. So let's say, and that's gonna cost, let's say $50. Add space. And depending on how many, let's say we run it Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And let's say there's 25 people that sign up.
That's a lot.
That would be great. That's a shitload. I was thinking of even asking to see if George would be available to come in and just say, hey, okay, listen, you know what? Just do like a structure to have you, George, and then maybe my buddy Chris that does financing, and just say, okay, guys, there's been a lot of stuff going on, so I want to George is going to kind of talk to us about the current market and what the market's doing. Obviously, we see some decline, but George, can you touch on some statistics, etc.? And I'm sure he could just fucking wing it. I mean, it's going to be about 5 to 10 minutes a person max, because I think the duration of this, you want to keep it short, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. And then so have him go for like a 10-minute spiel about the market conditions, selling, buying, etc. Then I would go into you or Chris, again, if he's available, and if you're available, to go into like, okay, Gino, he's our technology guy, and he kind of distinguish or talk about some of the benefits of actually throughout this time, and the benefits of technology that we could use, aka your 3D tours, the webinars that we're going to be on, so stuff like that. And then go to him and talk about some of the lending challenges and some of the financial perspectives that people might have, or questions about getting loans. Are people still getting loans? Are people still getting it pre-approved? And go through that spiel. And then basically just close off with any questions.
Yeah, I mean, that could work perfectly. You could have like, either you do what you just said and have like your stable of professionals to get them from all angles, give them a little briefing from all different angles, or you could just do like 3 or 4 different ones over the course of a week. Let's say like one day it's all about like lending. Like we could bring in there's so many people that we would have to, if they're available, like to come in and tell people like the state of the lending market right now, and if this is a good time for them to think about maybe refinancing, see if there's any like unique conditions right now that they could take advantage of, because that would be helpful to homeowners. And then do another one where it's all about just literally the state of the market. Like, here's the activity we're seeing. Here's like, you shouldn't be afraid. And that would be a good one for maybe George to participate in. Give more of an overview and make people feel confident that their house isn't losing value right now. And then set up another series after that where it's more about like, here's how I can help you sell the house. Here's what I would do. Here's like the technology we use. Here's like the marketing that we do. Here's the Matterport camera, and here's what that does, and here's why it's valuable, especially right now. And just kind of separate all the topics into their own thing. Probably all would be around 30 minutes in themselves.
The question is, are we going to have these as 3 different ads, or are we still trying from this original ad? Are we still trying to recycle the users or the participants to each 3 of those sessions? Because what I don't want is to have it as like, I guess it would be good to have as an ongoing thing, but will we lose people throughout, while having, okay, people are going to talk to George or listen to George. There may be some people that don't really care about listening to the finance side, or maybe vice versa. Would it be, and I'm just trying to spitball here, would it be I guess not best, but maybe an idea to do it as a all banger for now, see the activity that we get. Because I mean, if we get 10 people, great. If we get 5 people, okay. I would just want to do it as a trial run. So let's say we do this one in the Addison district or whatever it is, or are we just doing it at a whole gamma scale and see whoever tunes in? And if, depending on that answer, let's say we only do it for Addison people, and let's say Bloomingdale and whatever is around here, and Roselle, let's say for those 3 districts, for those 3 county or cities, whatever, villages, whatever the fuck they are. And then let's say we get a 25 people turnout. would we then want to then scale it to where, okay, let's do it by only George, only financing, only pro tips, and then let's break it down, for more ads to where we're going after Elmo Park and Oak Park, let's say, and then we're going after the city of Chicago, like stuff like that. Like, what is your thought?
Well, there's different things that are going to appeal to different people. So you could make content around, you might make a whole series around like valuable stuff for first-time buyers, what they need to know.
Yeah.
Lending is a big one, obviously, what to look for. There's so many things. But then there's going to be people who are current homeowners and they're not looking to sell their house. They don't care about that right now. But what they may care about is, what is the state of the market? This house is my biggest investment. And I'm hoping, it's what I'm hoping to maybe turn over for a profit at some point in the future. I need to know it's still worth something. So they're going to care about that. Then there will be people who are thinking about selling and they want to feel good about the fact that it's still okay to put their house in the market. So you could really cover all this stuff in one big long webinar. But the thing is, like, most of the topics people aren't going to care about. They're only going to care about one topic at a time based on where they are, what their needs are. So I would probably set it up like each one is its own thing. So like the webinar is just about learn about the current state of the market in Addison, Illinois. That's it. This would obviously appeal to current homeowners, which is valuable. And then the next one would be, if you're thinking about buying, here is some valuable information via our guest mortgage lender about the current lending conditions that are available. And here's some things maybe you could take advantage of and leverage, whatever. So it's all about lending. It's all about getting a home loan. And then the next one is all about, marketing. And hold on, breaking up here. So, but the point is that if you do 1, 2, 5, 10 of these webinars, you, Damian, are the nucleus of everything. Like, you're at the forefront. You're the one that, even if you're not presenting the information directly on any given topic, you still are bringing in the authority who knows what they're talking about. So you're still siphoning off that value. And people who are watching in your area, because you're targeting, where you live, which is smart, you're going to get all that, like, good press, so to speak. You're going to get all the value. And then at some point, after you've done a handful of these webinars, you've given them tons of value, maybe you can go in for more of a hard ask. Like, I'd love to maybe give you a free home valuation or something like that. But first, I think it's important to just set up maybe, like I said, let's just say 5 webinars that span a 2 or 3 week period where you're just giving value. So we just put some thought into it. We source a couple of guests. We really, come up with the topics. We really put together what information we're going to present. We're not just going to wing it necessarily. And then later go for the ask, because you obviously, if they sign up for the webinar, you've collected their information as a lead. And you know that they care about something having to do with the real estate market based on the webinar that they signed up for, or based on the information that they requested. So now you have a list of leads you can follow up with. And then that's just up to you to be a good salesperson and, close the deal. But it'll be a lot easier to close the deal because you've given them value.
Right. We're already essentially familiar with one another.
Basically, yeah. And yeah, most likely, if it works like perfectly, you're only going to have 10 or 20 people in there, if that. But that's okay, because once you have 5 people who like you and trust you and you've given them value, it's a lot easier to metastasize from there, because your area is really condensed. You're not trying to capture everybody, not even everybody like in the Chicagoland area, or you're just trying to capture right where you live. So it's a pretty small radius. So even if you do get 5 or 10 people, like that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great. If you get 10 people, that'd be fucking awesome.
I mean, frankly, for the first one, you could probably, if you put a little work into it, just get people to sign up and come on without spending any money, like on ads. Just by calling people up, say, in your area or people that and say, come on to my webinar or whatever. Worst case scenario, you do it and they don't really care about real estate, but they care about you. So you got a lot of practice getting in front of the camera, doing the webinar, figuring out the production, because there's a little production you got to be aware of. That's not a bad thing either.
The only challenge I don't know about fucking anyone in this area. Hey.
Well, what about like people just in general, like on your social channels, for example, even if they're not in Addison, because the information will be pretty general. It could be pretty general. You don't have to apply it only to Addison, Illinois. It can really apply to anybody. Like, for example, lending would apply to pretty much anybody.
Right.
So, I mean, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. But I still wouldn't mind. I mean, I probably wouldn't mind doing both of them. To where once we record that video, still blasting it out there and sending it to a few people that like personally that I want to engage with.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Once you have it, it's recorded, and now it's a piece of content.
Right.
So you could put it out there long form. So now it lives as like a long form video. It lives as a long form podcast, and then you can also pull out the nuggets and distribute it like that. It's like super efficient. Cool. Or if you want to do it that way, forget the live stream, forget the webinar stuff. You could just produce a piece, and then put it out there.
The thing I like about webinar, especially like, and this is why I want to try the first one, right? And just do, like you said, to begin with, do one. Let's say we do it on Tuesday, and then spend $50 for the ads. Create one to where, let's say on the webinar, it is just you and I, and then we'll just talk about create maybe like a 3 to 5 page slide of like you said, the current state of the market. Show kind of where things are going, and then take questions. And then even if it is just 5-6 people, then be like, okay, listen, we're looking to interact with people. And you could say, okay, you know what? Oh, hey, I live right here. Where do you live? Where are you? What's your ask? Are you looking to buy? Are you looking to sell? So that way it could also be more personal. And since I already have everyone's information, you could easily categorize them and basically label them the Buffini way, where they fall on your list.
Right.
And then target them that way, and then keep growing that list. And then if it does, let's say we do get 5 to 10 people on the first one, then say, you know what? And let's say we get 5 to 10 people organically through those ads. And then I could add on another 5 people from my list, let's say friends, or actually people that, I have a few of mine that are actually looking to buy or sell. This could be a good idea to get them on that webinar, as well. So then it looks like 15, 20 people. Mm-hmm. And then go from there. And let's say, okay, it does work. Say, okay, let's go with the next one. Let's go with ad 2 for lending. And then the same thing, and let those people know, like, hey, just FYI, we're going to give you guys an update. It is going to be about lending. If you guys are interested, please tune in, and go from there. But I think I would like to do one based off the ad, just kind of how we were just drafting this one originally, just to see what the turnout is. And I'm assuming there's going to be interest, but you just don't know that. But that'd be great, just to see what's out there and what hit.
Right. And that's the real skill in all this stuff is going to be remaining very light on your feet. Like, you don't know what the hell is going to happen. You don't know what the interest level will be, but you got to be willing to adapt to it. Like, you may run the ad. It may not work at all. You may get nobody to sign up. That's okay. That doesn't mean you quit. That doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means you got to change something. Maybe change the creative, change the title, change, whatever. There's going to be lots of little variables. And then after you do 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, as you go, you're going to learn what's working, what's not working. What are people responding to? What topics do people like better? Some topics, it could just be the topic. A lot of people are interested in it. It's valuable. Other topics we thought would be super valuable, but no one gave a shit. Could happen. That's real life. And the point is that, like, what's going to work in the end, I think, we don't have a clue at this point.
Right.
It's just going to be, you got to try, you got to test, taste, do whatever like you think would be valuable. But we have no idea what's going to be valuable to people right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think would be a good topic to start with?
I think the current state of the market is good. I think everyone's interested in that. I think everyone wants to know what the fuck is the housing market's doing. Because everyone at the end of the day, I think that's something that, because the lending part and the marketing part, well, some people aren't buying, some people aren't looking to sell. So those things could be like you're already chopping them in half. But buyers and sellers both are interested in the market.
Right.
I mean, that's, to your point, I think that would be a good one to grasp everyone's attention, to be like, just like you said before, state of the market, state of the real estate market during COVID-19 or in current condition. Right. Something that's bold, big, and it catches people's attention. It kind of sounds dramatic in a way.
Yeah, definitely. Normally I would recommend adding as much context as you can. So saying state of the Addison real estate market. But in this case, I'd probably back off of that a little bit because it is very general and applies to everybody. So I think it's fine. Yeah. Unless you think there's some unique factors as to why it might differ from, market to market. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't think so. Because everyone's kind of in the same boat now.
Exactly. And so that was my next question is, do we keep it to certain zones, zip codes? Or like you said,
probably not.
Right. But just see how much we can grab.
But like for the lending, that you could break up because first time buyers are their own little category. Depending on the type of loan product that you're looking for, it would probably require its own presentation. So you probably want to be more niche about that. But for the state of the market, I think that is kind of more of a general thing. I don't normally recommend that, but I think in this case it would be appropriate.
Right. Just to see what's going on. And so do you think, okay, so still stick with that one, with that advertisement, this and that. And then we'll see. So this would be number 1. And then based off of that, if that continues well, we'll go into lending. If it doesn't do well, then we'll just have to kind of go back into the drawing board and say, okay, maybe that wasn't a topic we were interested in. Maybe we just didn't have the right content. Maybe, I don't know. Something's a maybe. Obviously, like you said, it's just everything is in this game until we have some data. This is where it depends at.
Well, we know absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt that there are people who are interested in every one of these topics.
Right.
We know that. So the variables are going to really be around the creative that we put out, which could literally be the headline. It could literally be whatever the ad winds up being, if it's a video, if it's a picture, whatever it is, that's going to be the differentiating factor. We know people like the information. We know it. We can see the data online, what people are searching for, what they want to know. We can figure that out beforehand. Like very specific topics. We could figure that out. And then we just know, okay, people like this. They're looking for it online, looking for that information. Now we just give it to them. But we give it to them our way, through our lens, through our filter, through our experience and all that stuff. So we know people want it, but the creative is always going to be the variable right now, which is where all that context comes into play. Like that's one way to kind of combat that, which we've always talked about so much. So won't bother going into it now, but I just really think there's a lot of opportunity right now to grab people's attention. And that's one thing actually I was thinking of last night is there may not be tons of opportunity to make sales right now or get new business, but there is tremendous opportunity, more than there was before, to set yourself up for success 3 or 4 months from now. That's what I really think. Like, I think this is a great opportunity to go ham on content just like this, just like these webinars we're talking about, and so much more, and to just build awareness around yourself. And then in 3 or 4 months, hopefully things are back close to normal. You can really start now maybe transacting on that. So I really think there's going to be lots of people who come out of this on the other end much better than they would have if this never happened.
I agree.
But you got to have the foresight right now to know you're not, sales may decline. This business is going to slow down, but there's still tremendous opportunity right now. So that's how I would look at it.
Yeah, I think, right now we need to chop wood, that way once we're ready to start the fire, we're starting the fire. And then 2-3 months from now, like you said, we're reaping the heat from the fire, or then we're getting, because I agree. I think right now there's going to be a lot of hesitant people. I mean, yes, will people still buy and sell? I think so. Mm-hmm. Simply because some are in panic mode to sell, because they're like, oh, everything's so good, and like I don't want to lose that valuation. I had 100,000, now it's already down to 80. Like I don't want to bring it back down to 20,000 profit. So I think there's going to be that. Then there's going to be just people that simply just need to buy homes to live, and they're going to see that opportunity because of that. Like you said, there's the inverse of the seller is the buyer that's like, I'm going to get a good deal. We talked about this yesterday. But I think the number and the volume, like we would normally experience in the spring market, has just sizzled off a little bit.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think I think this is great because I was so. I've been thinking about this again, and I told you this is something that I've even talked to Adrian about. I wanted to ramp it up. I wanted to create more content on my pages and blast that, but also create more space and ads. And then also, I wanted to get more actual physical ads, little postcards ordered to still mince or flood my blog, because there's a lot of, as we were walking, we took a walk yesterday for about 45 minutes. We got a circle here, and then you go up south, and then there's more cul-de-sacs and kind of small neighborhood type things. And I just noticed a lot of older people that have pretty fucking big houses. I mean, not big. I mean, I consider my house big. It's 2,500, 2,800 square foot, 4-bedroom. But for one older lady who's probably in her 60s, 70s, is soon thinking that this might not be the house, for her anymore. Mm-hmm. So I also want to engage with those people here in my neighborhood, because I don't think they will be as electronically or technology savvy. So I still want to hit them. So to where I'm getting at is I would like your help to create an actual postcard to say, hey, basically it's just like a flyer that I could just drop off by their doors, probably closer to Easter, and then also closer to end of May, hopefully when this is almost done with. But that way they're staying relevant, and maybe even another one in June. But doing that, and then also utilizing that same card as another ad. just to see what traction that gets.
Mhm.
I
I agree. I agree 100%. And a lot of that falls into this category of like basic, like marketing, right? Just making touches with people,
exactly.
postcards, phone calls, door knocks. Probably don't want to do that right now, but the basics are going to carry you very, very far. And like just showing up is 95% of the game. Even if the content we're putting out is not groundbreaking, it's not brand new, they're still consuming it through you. And that's what's important. That's the value.
Yeah. You're the top of mind, exactly.
Right. That's all it is. It's just top of mind. You're top of mind. You start to flub out, and then you send out your next piece. Boom, you're top of mind again. Like how much time can you spend top of mind? That's all you really should be worrying about. And the way you do that, it doesn't always have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just got to show up. You just got to put it out. So if you're putting out content every day, I'm sure there's not very many realtors, especially in your market, who are doing that. I think you could easily outperform everybody in your market. So could every realtor. And that's where you're going to really reap the rewards, is just by staying top of mind, by doing the basics. Right now, the basics have to be done, or kind of maybe reworked a little bit creatively given the circumstances, but nonetheless, you can still find ways to make touches with people. I mean, there's so many different ways to do it. But yeah, if you can have the foresight that you're going to spend the next 3 months to position yourself versus trying to transact on everything you put out, I think it's gonna help your mindset, if nothing else. When you start doing stuff, nothing's working, it can get frustrating. But if you're not expecting any results for the next 3 months, even though you're working your ass off, I think that's going to be so much better for you too.
I agree. I mean, I think the biggest plus, if nothing else comes from it, like no new sales, whatever, is us learning more about the market, but also collecting data on these ads. So we will know, okay, listen, remember that first ad we did? Fucking killed it. It was fucking hot off the press. But what was the difference between that one and ad number 4? That ad number 4 didn't do shit, right? So I think
Right.
those are the two valuable pieces. Like you said, like, yeah, at times people get discouraged because there's no monetary value coming back right off the bat. There's no a monetary return on that investment. But there's a lot of positive investment or a return coming in different forms that I think we could benefit from, like you said, three months from now. You have to stop drinking coffee, man.
Bathroom break. I can hear you though.
I know, because you got your fucking sexy earpods on. Maybe that's what you could buy me that. My birthday's coming up on May 15th. FYI, you could you gotta put that in your calendar, because we'll have a golf outing, which obviously you're invited to, but only if you bring me a pair of AirPods.
Dude, I'm telling you, change your life. Here I am, fucking networking, using the bathroom all at the same time. Efficiency at its finest.
Yeah. Stroking it, peeing, and fucking recording a podcast.
Can't beat that. All thanks to AirPods. There's your commercial, Apple.
I don't know if Steve Jobs would be appreciative of that creative, but
it's a new world now. This is how we work.
Exactly. But no, I think this is great. So I think two things. And then the last part is like, would you be able to help me with the squeeze pages or the landing pages and how to actually make these ads run to where they're actually collecting that info for us?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So could we start? So I'll create this one, the video one, I'll probably have just Adrian record me as I'm walking through the house. I'll send it to you just to see what you think about it. And then we could just get that up and going and then plan on doing it. I'll just say it for Tuesdays. That way it gives us enough time to run the ads for 1 to 3 days, maybe 4 days. And then we also have time just to create some kind of a structure for it. That's A. And then B, I would also like help creating an actual paper flyer ad. So like one that I told you we could just dual purpose is I could, when is Easter, 2 weeks or something?
I don't know. I have no clue.
You're not Greek Orthodox?
No.
What's your religion? Muslim?
Buddhist. I'm a
Or
Buddhist.
you're probably an atheist. You believe in the power of the dong. That's what you are.
I'm certified Christian.
Dong slanger?
But not practicing.
Gotcha.
I really have no idea when Easter is. I think it's like 2 weeks or something.
I think so. For whatever reason, I want to say it's the 24th. Here, let me look real quick. Did that pause it or no?
No, just the video.
Just pause the video. What
Yeah.
the fuck is Easter? Orthodox Easter is the 19th. Oh, the 12th. So it isn't actually not even 2 weeks. It's exactly in 10 days. So in 10 days, this would be great though, because that way, what I would like to do is run, once we're done with, so create this one, this would be priority number 1. Create this, run it for 3-4 days. Do you have quick pay?
Yeah.
Chase?
Well, Zelle.
Well,
there's
whatever.
100 ways to do it. There's 100 ways.
Right. Whatever. That way I could just quick pay you the funds. I'll just quick pay you $50. So that way we could use that for the ad money. And then the other one, I think that one we could do on Vistaprint, right? Just like the ad for like a paper flyer ad, but we could also steal that for a regular, basically like a static ad.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For a flyer, yeah.
Yeah.
You could do that.
Well, I'm saying like I would use it as a mailer, to drop off in people's mails for Easter time, but also use that same setup basically to run as an ad on online. Obviously it's not going to be a video, but I just want to see kind of what that would do, and that one would be more of a ad that's just generating hopefully new business, right? Because like you said, this ad that's going to be, the current state of the market is purely not about business, but just getting information and people's info, which the other one could also generate. But that one I think would be more like, hey, are you buying or selling?
Right. You want to avoid that at this point.
Right.
So the main goal of your state of the market is to just reassure people.
Yes.
Just remember that, like, as you're thinking about what to say and whatever, you're just going to be reassuring people that their investment is not below water, because it's not. But now you can provide facts and data, bring in an expert. Somebody, or we asked George, I'm sure he would do it if possible. And then just literally, you're presenting people with information and data. You're not asking them for anything. You're not saying, you want to represent them, or you want to, sell their house, whatever. You're literally just giving them data. You're giving them hope.
Right. And that's what I meant. I'm just saying from the mailer, how to structure the mailer would be more of something like
A market report could be.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, you're talking about after the fact, right?
Yes. Yeah. I'm talking about, this would be its own ad. I'm saying this would be its own ad. The actual mailer will be its own ad, which I think it's actually a great idea. do like a fact of where the market is, maybe on the front to get people's attention. On the bottom, say, if you're currently looking to buy or sell, yada yada, reach out to us. On the back of it, it could just have maybe some links to some of our these webinars that we have already recorded. That way they could access more information, and just like that. And then same thing, multi-purpose that paper ad again later on as a internet ad, but it's just going to be a static ad. It's not going to be a video, but just same thing, just repurpose that ad and see what kind of hits we get that. But that will be, like you said, this will be first. That will be, the mailer will be, Easter towards end of April. So that way I'm talking about those people that aren't, tech savvy, and they won't be jumping on, but they'll get something in their hand. And then repurpose that, let's say, after April for the ad, for another internet ad. And hopefully in between those, we will have, lending webinar and marketing webinar. And I even thought of now, it's just like a construction or upgrades webinar, bringing one of the guys that I do construction with, or this guy, Angelo, and have him on the webinar and have his following join and just say, hey, new builds versus upgrades, or what the construction cost is. Are material prices increasing? Are people still building new? Are people still shying away from that? So that could be a fourth webinar. So those would be.
Now you're starting to get it.
We're getting real trending here, John.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, because every topic is going to appeal to different people. Period.
Yeah.
So you'd rather make a 30-minute presentation about a very, very particular idea or subject versus just giving everyone like a little piece of everything. Period.
I do. No.
So, I mean.
And to your point, let's say we do a webinar every 2 to 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks, we're creating the content from this one webinar. It could essentially create 10 to 20 pieces of individualized content that we could break down simply just by fucking snapping the photo of everyone that's on there. Just that alone could be a piece of content, like you said. So those would create enough content, hopefully, for a week or two. So that way when we're ready for our next webinar, they're still getting sprinkled of us, and we're the ones that are staying on top of mind and relevant to where, hopefully by the end of May, we finish the last webinar, and then things start changing and everyone's fucking not eating Coronas anymore.
That would be good.
Yeah. And then we
the other way, last thing to understand is how or where they're going to live, because you could basically do a webinar via like a Facebook Live or a YouTube Live, or we have actual webinar platforms, which depending on what you need to do it for, that might be valuable, might be irrelevant. But if you can do it through one of your social channels, there's added benefit to that. Maybe it'll build your following, and as you add more and more content, people will be brought there because they sign up for that live stream or that webinar, and then they see your other content, they go further down the funnel, they get caught in your web in a good way, and they basically start to like you more. So it becomes it becomes easier and easier to sell to them later because they already like you. And that's the whole punchline about making content, is like when you actually go in for the ask, when you actually send them the mailer, when you cold call them or whatever, they're so much more primed to already like you, because that's what majority of the job is at the beginning. You have to convince them that you're not a shithead. You have to convince them that you know what you're talking about. You have to convince them that they like you. And that's what it is. When you put out content about information, they like it. They know you know what you're talking about. They know you're competent. And then you put out other information about your personal life. So they start to like you. They start to fall in love with you a little bit. And then at some point, you go in for the hard ask. Hey, I want to work together. I want to do evaluation in house, blah, 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 whatever. They already like you. You've already done the majority of the work. So that's it.
Yeah, you don't just pull up to the club and just say, "Hey, girl, you want to fuck?"
Well,
Could work depending on the time of day.
the Hail Mary works sometimes.
So to what you just said, I guess what would be the best content platform for us to where we can use it, save it, dissect it, reuse it, whatever.
Well, you can record it and save it, do whatever you want on any of them. I guess the real difference would be if you do it through a webinar platform, you could send them to your Squeeze page and they sign up, they're automatically enrolled into the webinar platform, versus if you did it like through Facebook or YouTube, you'd have to create like a separate form.
And do we have access with Wycert
Yeah.
to those platforms?
No, but I do.
Big dick flex.
I mean, it's just common sense.
Humble brag.
I mean, anyone could.
March doesn't. I do. No, so that's great. So I think that would be to save time on it, like you said. So that way, once they do sign up, boom, a link goes to them right away, right? And then they're enrolled. So that way it's emailed to them right away, and we're still collecting their info. Am I understanding that right?
Right. Versus you send them to like a form, like a Google form, get their
Right.
info, but now they're not enrolled into the webinar necessarily, but you have their information. Basically, I think webinars are one particular type of tool, and then you have live streaming, which could be like a webinar hack, but you should also have a separate live stream show that works not like a webinar, but just as a separate dedicated content show.
I get what you're saying.
Anyway, just think of it in terms of putting a webinar out there right now. It'll save you a lot of trouble, a lot of headaches.
Okay.
The trick is going to be getting multiple people in there remotely, unless we all show up, small group, and do it like that, which may or may not be okay. I'm not sure.
Wait, so you're saying that how will we be able to? Well, I mean, for the first one, unless by fucking Sunday noon we have 20 people that had signed up, I think for the first one it could be okay for us, the two of us, just to run it. But if there is more than 20 people, I say we ask George to see if he can step in on it. That way, give the little spiel. But I think we still prepare a small slideshow. 2 to 3 things. Create an order. Understand what the flow is going to be like. So we look prepared. We look professional. Instead of just be like, "So guys, what do you want to talk about?" But then as far as like the platform, I think the I don't know if it's the go-to meeting or whatever. It doesn't necessarily, like, for this first time, I think let's just try it, see we could run it the simplest way. And then we could dice it up, put it on the different platforms. And then from there on, when we're doing the second show or the second ad or the second webinar, then we could think about being live and so forth. So that way we could get more out of it. Like you said, to run the show, run this, run that, and then we could get maybe more set up. Maybe we are going to be in one spot at that point to where we have more access to everything. But I say, like, I would say for this one, just let's keep it simple, stupid, and let's just make it as our trial run to see what we can get from it, how everything will line up. I don't know what platform that would be. What do you think? Like, is it GoToMeeting or is it Skype?
Well, I have a webinar platform, webinar service.
Okay.
I mean, we're covered there. What I'm just trying to think of is, I think you can do it, but I'm trying to think of how you would record 2 people remotely bring them in as presenters. I think it can be done. Worst case scenario would just have to be in the same place.
But so would it be Zoom then that people are using right now? To where you can have 3 people like on the screen's faces?
See, like what we're using right now is just like Zoom. These are like conferencing tools. So
Yeah.
pretty much everybody is equal.
Right.
But like if you would imagine a webinar where you have 100 people,
Right.
it's not going to work like that.
Right.
You want to have presenters and then you have attendees. So that's why you would need a webinar like platform, because it solves that problem.
But so with the webinar platform, can't you, I'm pretty sure you could assign presenters.
Oh, the webinar, yeah.
Yeah. You know, so that way if you deem or classify me as a presenter alongside with you, I don't know if, to your point, it's either going to have to switch off to the screen, whoever's presenting, or it's going to be simultaneous, which that one, I don't know.
Like on here, you could present, but if you had 2 people remotely, you want them to present, I don't know if you could do that. So I think you would need an actual webinar platform.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
There's a million ways to do it. It's just, I wouldn't worry about that at this point. There's so many ways to go about it.
Yeah, I think for now we could just, I'll focus on creating the video. Then we'll focus on producing that video, hopefully into an ad. Once we have that up and running, we'll focus on actually creating the content for the webinar. And then I guess we'll worry about how it's going to work out with logistics later.
Yeah, but make sure when you're doing your video, your message is rock solid, but make sure you have Adrian in the video with you. People will like you more because of that. Because you're a family man and you're like this good guy, like whatever, loyal to your girlfriend. Cool. People will like you better. So make sure she's in the video. Even if just like for a second, like you show her, hey, I'm at home here with my wife and I know everything's shitty right now, but I want to invite you to join me in the current State of the Union address on the real estate market, blah, 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 blah. And that's it. She doesn't have to say anything, but I would recommend putting her in it. Too bad you don't have a dog, because your success rate would go up like tenfold.
Should I just go next door and be like, yo, I need to buy your dog for a video real quick?
Yeah, go rent a dog for 10 minutes.
That's a business idea.
And also a baby.
A stroller.
Yeah, you have a baby and a dog and your wife in the picture. Like
we need to set up a new website. Rent a baby, rent a stroller, rent a pet.
Yeah, forget real estate, man.
Yeah, I could rent
$1 million idea.
Well, you see the fucking now because, huh?
Rentanything.com. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Rentals. You want it, we rent it. But I don't know if you saw that shelters and all the orphanages, well, not orphanage, but I guess shelters, pet shelters, have like reduced their amounts of pets that they have because of all this. That people are turning to shelters to fucking get dogs and animals for their families because they're so fucking
I'm
bored.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
It's like you.
But too bad they don't make any money off that.
Yeah. Well, shelters do, don't they?
I don't know. I thought you would just adopt them. I don't know how it works.
No, I'm sure there's got to be a fucking fee, bro. They got to stay operational. But anyways, okay. Let's